What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Beatroots. I'm here with Moses.
Was good.
We got a track of his called Burnt. Very interesting track with a lot of sidechain compression, keys, synths, bass, and drums. First thing we'll do is we'll hop into the stem file and take a listen over there.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's hop over here, open up the stem file, and the first thing we're going to listen to are those keys.
Yeah. These started out as like a simple melody with my friends, and I chose this sound because like I felt like it was very nice, like warm, almost jingly, so very simple in the beginning, and then stuff starts to come.
Dope. Yeah, after a while we can bring in these sweeps.
Yeah, so here we got strings, and I have them sidechained to the kick, so they kind of dip in volume here and there, but they give like, you know, some essence, like some feel to the song, and they work well with the keys.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's listen to the two together over here.
Yeah, they blend really nicely, in my opinion.
All right, dope, man. Why don't we hop over to Ableton and dig a little deeper over here?
Of course.
What is the first thing you want to tell us about?
Let's start with the keys because they come in first. So these keys I made in Serum, and all I did really on them was quick EQ work and just a utility. I love utility. And I adjust the width so I could just like nearly place the sound slightly wider than normal. And yeah, it's nothing very technical, just sine and a basic default waveform.
Let's back up real quick here. I want to just take a look at the utility.
Yeah.
Tell us real quick what is actually going on there.
Cool. All right. So you can adjust the width. So basically, all sound is like at a default width of 100%.
Yeah.
And so if I want to almost place the sound out wider, I can just adjust the width. So from here, all I did was 100 to 105, and like the difference isn't crazy noticeable, but it's enough to kind of just make the mix a little cleaner, give each sound its own space.
Cool. So it gives it more of a stereo sound.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting technique, and it's just to like widen up those keys a little bit.
Exactly. And this EQ work, very basic. I just cut out the very low inaudible frequencies, and then I just gave a slight boost here to. What I did was actually I found peaks in like the transients, and I thought it was pretty cool that like certain notes buzz out of the sound if I boost it slightly. Okay. So this slight boost gives like a little twang to the sound.
Cool.
And so those are the keys for the most part.
Okay, right on.
And over here it's essentially the same sound with nearly the same EQ work, but this is the same keys but different chord progression. Very tight reverb, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then I dropped the width to about 75, so it's more like here-ish rather
kind of
than
the opposite effect they were going for the initial one. And so you've also got that auto pan. Tell us a bit about what that's doing.
So I set it here on the auto pan a certain amount by which like the note will transfer from ear to ear, and it doesn't really happen often. I set it at 0.13 hertz, and it's just like a slight rocking. It'll shift more to the left and more to the right at times, like where the sound is.
Yeah.
And it's just for again mixing purposes, and like it also kind of gives a sway, like psychoacoustic.
Yeah.
It gives
playing with like
exactly.
the placement of the sound.
Exactly.
I dig it.
It makes like the people feel the sound more. It's more than like hearing. It's more like where it hits you physically. Almost.
Yeah.
So
and is that like a technique that you find yourself using often in your music?
Yeah. I got into that recently because at first when I got into producing, I wasn't like so sure on mixing and like how to place sounds where I want them and make it clean and stuff. But I started getting into it heavier, and here I am messing with it all the time. So I think it's really cool.
Cool, man. So like maybe for some of the kids who are not too sure about like how to play sounds or how to do that properly, this is like a good approach.
Oh yeah, of course. You can also mess around here with where this is a normal panning module that is on Ableton, and what you can do with it is you can literally drag it wherever you want. If you want it completely on the left side, you could put on 50 and then play it just through this ear.
Right.
But it's this also like putting the sound, setting it to like 8 left, for example. Yeah. It kind of just distinguishes sounds from each other, because if you just like stack them up on each other, it's just gonna sound like one big blob. Right. You want it to sound like a mix. Like think about it as putting puzzle pieces together in like a big, thing.
Yeah,
puzzle.
I dig it. I dig
Yeah.
it, man. I want to get to those synths because that's definitely one of my favorite parts of the track.
Where the drop is.
Just those sidechain compressed synths that.
This one. Hold up.
Yeah.
Word.
Let's
These are my
solo those
favorites.
synths real quick.
Of course. So this was the first main aspect I made of the song, and this is a totally original synth of mine that I made from scratch. So basic shapes, all it is really. And I was going, I don't know why, but the sound, I was thinking a lot of the color purple and pink, and so when I made these synths, I wanted to give it like a light, I don't know, just very vivid tone to it.
This is the sound version of how you interpret purple and pink.
Yes.
I dig that, man.
Yes.
That's deep.
And so here, and then in here you can mess around with LFOs, for example, and assign them to filters, and you can get this like bobbing sound to it. And so with that, I mixed in two plugins that I really love. I have LFO tool here, which helps also with the side chaining and the fluttering of the sound, and Kickstarter also does the same. So without them, this is what the sound sounds like. Hold up. That's all it sounds like right now.
Yeah.
And then when you throw an LFO tool, it becomes this. And then with Kickstart, it just delays it even more. And yeah, so that just gives that overall just bobbing to it.
Yeah.
And then for mixing purposes here, I did a mid-side EQ, which it's pretty complicated to explain, but basically what this does, if you EQ just like a mono input of the sound and then EQ another stereo input and then match those together, it makes your sound bigger and like wider. Makes way better. You have these options, mid-side mode. Usually you're on stereo. But mid-side works well. You layer this.
So this is doubling the sound essentially, and you have one that's being EQ'd in mono and one that's being EQ'd in stereo?
Nearly mono essentially. I slapped the utility on there. Love the utility. 25%. So it's very close to mono, but enough to sort of spread out. So solo, it sounds like this. For the 25% part. Essentially everything is still there. Normal EQ, but just the side is the only thing that I EQ'd all the low out the sides, so just the main lows come through. And then I layered that with this part.
And this is the stereo one.
This is at 200%. So this is all the way as wide as it gets. And so here, this is where I kept the lower ends just for the synth aspect of the sound, and then I boosted the higher ends where you hear like the white noises and all that. And when you double them, you have a wider sound.
Man, that's dope. I have never heard that trick before. Where do you remember where you learned that?
I learned it online. I was just like bored and I was like, yo, maybe I can learn something about EQ. There's so much here that like I didn't know what I could have done with. And so I just watched the video and I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Cool, man. I'm with Moses. We're listening to his track Burnt. We're going to hop over in part 2 and talk about the drums and the bass. So join us for part 2.